Hey everyone, I know I've been kind of MIA for the past week or so. I'm just getting over another concussion, so I'm a little bit off as of late, and I'm just trying not to push myself too hard because although I want to bring you guys some great content, I also want to make sure that I don't fall behind in school and that I feel okay. So before we get into it, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content and information. This video, in case you haven't gathered from what's going on in the background, it's going to be about Survival Road, specifically the hard one that we just had, and I kind of just wanted to show you guys kind of how I build my teams for it, say if I didn't have all these new S-Class tunes and stuff, because I know that a lot of people do end up struggling on Survival Road, mainly because they hit autofill on a team and they create just some random team that the computer generates, and to be honest, it's not always the best team. Like, you think it's good because it's a high team grade, but overall the synergy isn't there. So in this case for Legendary 1, it was all walkers in its stages, so I created a very heavy crit specialist team. So basically by using 5-star Lopez, all my tunes get plus 36 crit points, and for every critical hit that you get, it's a headshot and automatically kills the walkers available. So the other tunes that I used, I have Ezekiel, who is a healer, Sandy and Louie because they do double attacks on their rush, and Sandy has a double attack weapon, meaning when they rush, they have a better chance to kill multiple enemies instead of just a singular one. The last team also had crit weapons, so it just increased their chances of getting headshots. In the next stage, I know my enemies are green and yellow, and it just tells me at the top their enemy specialist skills as well, so I have an idea on what I can expect on the defensive team. We are looking at Cutthroat, Command, Guardian, as well as Evasion. So there's lots of ways to produce damage, as well as ways to mitigate damage. So the type of team that I want to create is obviously one that's very heavy on attack. I also want to make sure that my team has a type advantage if I can, or at least I don't have a type disadvantage. Knowing that they have green and yellow tunes, I know that blue tunes will be susceptible, and considering I can use blue or red tunes on this team, I need to think of a team that will not allow the opponent to have that ×2 damage multiplier because of a trade advantage. So I'm thinking of maybe doing a bleed team here. Now, it's not going to be super effective only because I don't have a bunch of the new like bleed tunes. I don't have Sheldon and stuff. I have a 6-star Rolito, I have a 6-star Jai Fang. I'm using Ajax so that I can redirect the opponent's attacks towards him. I'm using Eric as kind of my anchor because he can revive as well as heal. I didn't see any decapitation tunes on this enemy specialist skills or crosshairs or anything, so I know that Eric's going to be effective at bringing back anyone who ends up dying. Fang is a great tune to use on this team because not only is she a lacerator, but on her rush she can apply that hemo bleed, which will constantly increase every turn by 150, and then she's also able to lacerate it. So it's just a really effective way at killing the enemy, in my opinion, and there's obviously other tunes that can do the same job, and it's just about finding what works for you. Like, everyone has a different type of roster, but I'm just showing you one example of what you could do, not something you have to do. So now when we skip to stage 4, this stage is a little more difficult because it's a combination of walkers and people, which means you have to be prepared for both. So usually I would use a Priya lead just because I like her attack lead. The plus 50% attack is huge, and I can usually supplement my tunes with the right mods, so crit set mods or running other tunes that can increase their critical chance. So there's just a lot of different options here. I'm actually going to sub out my Priya just because I realized that a lot of people don't actually have the S-Class version of Priya with double attack and rampage. So instead I'm trying to make a team that is synergetic, but also possible that other people can make it. So I'm using Tara because she can do a lot of damage when she's on a roll. I'm going to use this Something to Fear Dwight for the attack as well as the HP, just as a blue lead. He doesn't have crit. The other Dwight would be more ideal, the one with plus 40 attack and plus 36 crit. Now, the weapons for my other tunes are all crit based as well, so that I have a chance of getting some headshots, because a headshot on a walker is an automatic kill. I'm using Douglas because Douglas is a Guardian toon, and Guardian toons are probably my favorite type of toon to use on Survival Road, just because whenever they put up a shield, you know that they'll be able to take at least one more attack than before, because the shield will actually eat up one whole attack. Now, Morgan is not the best choice of toon here, just because like his follow-up ability is on a kill, but these walkers obviously have a lot of HP and defense, and because he is a bound weapon, it means I don't have crit chance on that weapon, and I don't think I've given him any mods. So basically the type of team I'm running is just one that can outlast the other one, but also has some power players on it. Like, even if I lose a toon, as long as I don't lose Eric, I'm in a good position. And thankfully, Douglas is also a healer, so he provides a defensive buff, same as Eric, but it's just an additional, like, insurance policy, per se. Something else that can help you during, like, a difficult survival road is if you take a look in the top left corner of my screen, there's current boosts. So based on the territories that my faction has, I have an additional 5% defense and 5% HP to all my teammates. So this is really valuable, really, and there's even two territories actually for crit chance to increase. So by taking these extra territories, it really gives you a nice advantage when going in survival road, as well as some other aspects of the game. So my strategy right now when attacking this team, because they obviously have a type advantage, there's a couple yellow toons in there, and I'm running all blue toons. I'm trying to get that Guardian shield up as often as I can. So Douglas has a crit chance mod as well as a crit weapon, so that Guardian shield's going up a lot to help protect. When he rushes, he's applying some control by taunting the enemy, giving the team plus 40% defense, and then also healing the team. And his active skill is a confuse active skill. So Douglas just brings a lot to the table. As I mentioned with Eric before, he's the anchor of a team as a reviver and a healer. He's not applying a lot of damage. The damage rolls are given to Morgan as well as Tara, because Tara has that honor roll, so she can gain plus 120% attack after 6 turns. So that's a huge amount of damage that can be done, and I like her because she buffs herself. With Morgan, if he gets a killing hit, then his follow-up ability triggers, and he has the ability with his weapon to potentially gain 100% AP back. And because there's no toons on defense that use exhaust, it's safe to run Morgan. And at this point, it's kind of just auto attack, basically. Like, I'm not doing it at the moment, but there's no one on this defensive team that can really heal them. So I don't really have much fear of them killing me, because my Douglas is going off a lot, my Eric's going off a lot, and it's kind of just attack, 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 have evasion, reduce my damage so it takes even more attacks. And finally, the last stage, 3 waves of people, decapitation, disarm, human shield, as well as follow-up. So I know that these defensive teams are going to be very aggressive, because if they have follow-up as well as decapitation toons, but they also have a human shield, so it's going to block a lot of my damage, I'm going to try and create a team that will be effective against them, but I'm also trying to make it out of usable characters, like toons that a lot of people have. So like this Henyon that I'm using is only a 6-star, and his rush is not leveled all the way. I'm using Harper, who is found in a lot of different places at the moment. She's been in some wheels and stuff. Jesus, I think, has been in some wheels as well and has been available. Michelle was a free-to-play toon. Carly, you can ascend yellow toons to get her. And as I mentioned with Henyon, his collection has been out for a while, and he is a level 90 6-star toon, but I haven't really leveled up his rush or anything. So the way I kind of composed this team, I wanted to have a human shield so that I could redirect some of these aggressive attacks towards them, because they'll get that 50% defense bonus because they're defending. And obviously my Jesus has higher defense and HP mods as well as stats in total, especially with his weapon, than other toons. So it's just one way of hiding my more aggressive toons. I'm running Harper because when she rushes, she can apply minus 50% defense as well as attack, so it kind of just neuters the enemy, and she comes with a stun weapon. Henyon is very valuable because he can have a double attack on basic attacks, or on his rush he has the chance to attack up to 4 times, which is really effective because he's a high damage dealer. He also can stun the enemy as well as apply crosshairs, and he applies some bleed as well. Michelle's pretty similar. She doesn't apply crosshairs or anything, but she can stun the enemy and puts out a high amount of damage along with some bleed. And the last toon that I use on this team is Carly. She's kind of an underrated toon, but I really like her because when she rushes, she gains back 100% HP to 2 teammates. So that is extremely valuable in my opinion, because obviously if my human shield is shielding a lot and he doesn't get stunned by Harper or someone else, then he's taking a lot of attacks. So anything I can do to kind of heal him back as well as give that plus 65% defense bonus, it really counts and it really adds up. And it makes some of these teams just a little easier to face. So as you kind of been seeing, I've been making pretty short work of his last stage, and it's just because I have a good idea of what I'm doing and have a good idea about what the opponent's toons do. So like Amber is my greatest threat on this defensive team. I want to make sure that Henyan can apply crosshairs on her, because Alice, if she brings Amber back, then Amber is definitely going to take out a toon or two, especially with a type advantage. Now I did get a bit lucky because I had most of my rushes ready, and on this turn I actually get lucky in knowing that if I use Michelle's active skill, Henyan's going to get enough AP in order to rush based on how AP gains work, which allows me to stun Alice. If I hadn't been able to stun Alice, she would have brought back either Ajax or Amber. Neither would have been a good choice to bring back. I prefer just killing them outright, but in this scenario I didn't really have a choice. Now, this ended up being a pretty quick match in the end, and I think anyone could really build a team like this. The main compositions are just having a lead toon that can give that AP and attack to the whole team, having another damage dealer, having someone to help control with defense down or attack up for your team, having a human shield to divert attacks, and then having a healer. So this healer could be someone like Carly, who heals specifically HP, or someone like Yellow Tie, who can revive teammates. So there's really a lot of different ways to go about this, and there's not one right or correct team to use. There are many different types of teams that you could use, and it's all about understanding what your toons are capable of in order to find that synergetic team. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video. I really appreciate all your support, and again, I apologize for being so late on so many videos. I do have The Road video with Lockdown that is coming out soon. I'm just behind on it due to my concussion.